I've been able to spend a week with this Ford Explorer a couple of different times, and I've got some things that I like and things that I don't like that I'm gonna share with you. Let's get into it. Real quick before we get started, I want you to know this isn't a full review. I have a couple of full reviews in the description below and other videos of the Explorer if you want to see all the details. This is just a few nitpicks and some things that I personally like, but let's jump into it. Now, to start things off with the things I don't like, the bad. First thing is going to be behind the wheel, and if you want to see a longer test drive, be sure to check the full review. But I would say the biggest thing that stands out to me about this Explorer compared to other 3-rows is that the ride comfort is not as good as many others. It's on the stiff side, even with this XLT. So we have 20-inch wheels here. If you go up in trim with the 21-inch wheels or just the big wheels on those upper trims, it is really rough. I drove that Platinum and I was like, wow, I can't believe this is a family vehicle with how stiff it is. Something to really keep in mind. I'm comparing this to other 3-rows too. It's not as bad here, but it's pretty darn rough and bad on those high trim levels with the big wheels. You can get the XLT with smaller 18-inch wheels, but something to keep in mind, ride comfort is not as good as some others, but test it out for yourself. Now with another dislike, this is primarily for those of you that want a naturally aspirated engine, or those of you coming from a previous generation Explorer that you can get just a straight shooting V6. You can't get that anymore. Most of you are going to end up with a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that does feel kind of small and sounds like a small engine, but it does still have good power. I'll put some specs below and there's more details in my full review. If you really want to, you can still go up and get a 400 horsepower turbocharged V6, but you got to pay a pretty penny for that. But I wish we had a naturally aspirated option, but we don't. Now another dislike is going to be on the interior. So I'm not a huge fit and finish guru or material type of person as far as what materials are inside, but a quick note is that the fit and finish on the Explorer is not great. There are some gaps in here. I think it's even worse on a couple of them that I've had. This screen does not feel super securely mounted, and if you get the big screen, that one feels even a little bit more flimsy. Fit and finish is something some of you won't care about at all or won't even think about. The materials in here don't feel terrible, but it does feel a little bit second class compared to some other 3-row vehicles. And in a couple of the Platinum trims I was in, there were a couple panels, like both of these side panels were coming loose. There was something in the back that was kind of like popping off on a brand new vehicle. So it's a little bit concerning on fit and finish for the Ford Explorer. Now my next dislike is gonna bring us behind the wheel again, and you can see some of the roughness there, but this time it's the unrefined sound and feel of the 4-cylinder engine. That V6 was really nice and peppy and powerful, and this one is still fairly powerful, but it just sounds and feels small. I mean, I gotta say, it does have a good amount of pep. It's got a really good amount of torque and horsepower for the size of engine, but the transmission paired with this 4-cylinder and the small feeling of it, let me get on it a little bit. Every time you have to get on it and let go of that accelerator, it's just got a hard clunk. Let me do it again. On it, let off, and hard clunk. You can see and probably feel the jerk. So I think my biggest complaint with the driving dynamics is that the 4-cylinder with this transmission is not very smooth. I've had different experiences in every Ford I've driven. Some have been very smooth, some have been very clunky, and this is one of the clunky ones. So make sure you go out and test drive and explore for yourself and see how it feels for you. Now, starting with my likes, in no particular order, one of them is the fact that this is the XLT trim, which is lower end trim level for Ford, but it still gives you a ton of available features. Let me just run through a few things. These seats, these are synthetic and heated. Heated seats are actually standard on the XLT. That's really nice. The steering wheel is also leather wrapped and heated. Optional heated on the XLT. You don't have to move up to a high trim level to get a heated steering wheel. A couple of things we don't have that are optional though are like an automatic dimming rearview mirror. You can optionally get a twin panel panoramic moonroof in here even on this XLT trim. The second row seats can even be heated on this XLT trim. A lot of this stuff you have to move up for higher trim levels and pay a pretty penny to get them, but you can get them optional on the XLT. You even have your own dedicated climate controls for the back seat. It's not just vents. You can actually control your fan speed and your temperature standard on this XLT. And those obviously aren't all the options available on the XLT, but you don't have to spring for a limited or a platinum trim level to get some of the features you might be looking for without all the extra bells and whistles. Now, one of my likes, I'm back under the hood, and I know I complained about the fact you can't get a naturally aspirated option, but I like the fact that you at least have 3 different options. So under the hood on the base models, you're gonna get a 300 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder, so you can get that. It is fairly efficient. You can get a more powerful 400 horsepower turbocharged V6. That's pretty darn sporty and peppy. Otherwise, you can get a hybrid, and my main thing is that you have those 3 options available. Even though you don't have a naturally aspirated engine, the hybrid's not as efficient as like a Toyota Highlander hybrid or Kia Sorento hybrid, but it's actually pretty powerful and can tow pretty well too. So the fact that you have 3 different options is nice. I wish we still had a naturally aspirated engine, but you can kind of get what you want with this Explorer powertrain wise. Now, one of the things I really like about the Explorer, so it comes with the smart key system where you just have keyless touch to lock and unlock, but you also have this touchpad, the keyless keypad on the door. So you can create your own code to get into the vehicle where you don't need the key. You can give that to like a family member or someone that needs to get in there, and you can lock it with this too. So you can lock your keys in the car, go do something, come back and get in with the keypad. That's fantastic. Now, those of you familiar with Ford, obviously that's not a new feature. That's been around for a while, but it's really nice, especially if you're active, you go for a bike ride, you go swim, or if you just want to have access to the vehicle without using your key. Now, my next like is gonna come into the back seat, and it's not what you would expect. So I've complained in other vehicles about how captain's chairs or bench seats are determined on trim level. This one is the XLT with these captain's chairs, but you can still get a bench seat. That goes for every trim except the base fleet model. So you have the option to choose captain's chairs or bench. There's certainly pros and cons to both, and I would love to know which one you would pick, but I want you to know you have the option to get whatever configuration you want on any trim level, which is great. For example, some of them I complained about, only the top trim gives you this, or only the base trim gives you that. Not with the Ford Explorer. Now, my next like is going to be that it's just a comfortable and practical vehicle. It's a good combination of comfort and practicality. First of all, I've really enjoyed my time in these seats. Even on this XLT trim, they're really comfortable and soft. I mean, these are not rock hard, so if you're looking for firm seats, maybe you won't like it, but I really like them. The lumbar support is good, the cushioning is good. That's one aspect. On the front and second row doors, even this top area has a soft material. If you like to rest your elbow there, that's actually really welcome for me. Front seat storage is good. Not only is there a little random storage area under the screen, which is good for some items, even a phone or wallet, you also have a huge storage bin right there, a little knick-knack storage here. The cup holders are in a really nice spot. And there's also an extra little pad right here to store something too. So little things that tend to accumulate in vehicles and families are well accommodated in here. Even the back seat does well. I love having the available storage and bottle holders down here, but there's also an easily accessible cup holder, bottle holder right there. Cup holders are like gold in family vehicles. There's even a nice little storage center console tray in the middle there, and a storage area under that center console from the front. A couple more things though. Even on the passenger side, the passenger seat can get height adjustment and lumbar support. You don't always see that to have that in the passenger seat, which is really nice, even especially on this XLT trim. Now, another dislike that really impresses me with the Explorer is the amount of driver assist features. So this one, even on the XLT, still gives us adaptive cruise control, which can be intelligent, so it can actually change speeds. It gives you a full lane keeping system that can lane center as well, all of the automatic braking, blind spot, all of that stuff. But if you move up in trim, there's a whole lot more you can get. This thing can even parallel and perpendicular park for you, parking sensors all around, 360 camera all around, all sorts of things. Pretty much everything you would expect as far as safety features and the new technology. So I've got a full video demonstrating that on the Platinum trim. Check in the description below because it's pretty cool everything that this can do. So if you want all the features, you can get them all. So those were just a few things that I like and don't like about the Explorer, but for the most part, I like the Explorer. I think it's a good option for a 3-row SUV. There's a lot of features available. It's got good space inside. You've got some powerful engine options under here as well, but I would most importantly love to hear what you like and don't like. So please leave your comments down below. And if you want to see all the details with this Explorer, look in the description because I've got a couple of videos with all the details and more objective information. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.